This video is for you if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling drained, if you feel like you're working so hard, like you're trying all the things, you're reading all the books and you're doing everything step by step and it worked for others, but it just doesn't seem to be working for you. And I know because I went through it myself. I lost my health, I sank into depression, physically I became very ill, but I didn't get stuck there. I learned something from my Taoist priest, from my Shifu, from my teacher. A mind shift that shifted everything for me and allowed me to heal. And that's what I want to share with you in this video. For a long time I always thought that more was the answer. Because I think that's what society teaches us a lot. Just work harder, just try harder, just read more books, just do more yoga, just meditate more. More is always the way. But it's not. What my Shifu taught me was that sometimes the way is less. Sometimes the way is to let go. When I was really sick, once I got out of it, I focused all the time on I don't want to get sick. I avoided people who were sick. I don't want to get sick. But what I didn't realize was that put my body into this tense state of avoiding, right? Of thinking negative. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. So that was always in my head, and my Shifu taught me to let go. He taught me to accept the fact that probably I'm going to get sick sometime. I'm human after all, but that's okay. Where we get really sick is when we resist. So for example, I used to get really angry. If I started feeling myself get sick, I'd get really angry because it meant that I was weak, or it meant that I was doing something wrong. But that's not true at all. It just meant I was human and maybe I was tired or I was a little bit unbalanced. And the key that I learned was just to accept it. Now, ironically, paradoxically, knock on wood, I haven't really been sick for years now, because if I do feel something, I don't try to push through anymore. I take time off, I rest, I go to bed early. I let go, I stop, I just let myself flow. If my body's tired, if I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling down to sick, I know I just need to refocus. I just need to recharge. I just need to let go. And I just need to let flow. So ask yourself, what are you resisting? You may want to get somewhere. You may want to heal. You may want to make more money. You may not want to get rejected. What are you resisting? And maybe we can stop focusing on what we don't want and instead just focus on what we do want. Because focusing on what we don't want is that state of resistance. Our whole body tightens up. When we resist, think about it. If there's something you don't want, immediately your body tightens up. And when our body tightens up, our chest tightens up, and then we can't breathe properly. I remember my Shifu gave us this excellent point. He said, there's a lot of anxiety in the world. And a lot of the anxiety, and he wasn't saying this to belittle anyone or downplay anyone, but he was just saying, a lot of it is partially self-caused because when we resist, we tighten our body and we stop ourselves from breathing. And he said, try this experiment. Have someone come up behind you and just sort of gently constrict your chest so you can't breathe. And what you'll find is that instantly you start to feel anxious. So he said, by us resisting these things and placing our body into this tense state, we're actually reducing our ability to breathe, and we're creating anxiety in our body. So how do we stop that anxiety? We let go. We stop resisting. We stop worrying so much about what others think. This was another thing I had to let go of. And all these things are tied together. Healing is a process. Healing doesn't happen overnight. In the Western world, we tend to look at healing as just sort of one symptom and getting rid of one symptom. But what I've discovered for myself, at least, is that healing is a whole body thing. It's mind, it's body, it's spiritual, it's mental. So it's all of these things combined. So we can't just work on one area to get healthy. We have to work on everything. So to reduce the stress in our physical body, we have to reduce the stress in our mind. And one thing I used to worry about was, what did people think of me or things I said? And so that used to create an anxiety, and I used to get really tense, worrying about, should I say this? How should I say this? But what my Shifu helped me realize was that we actually have no control, for the most part, over how people receive what we say. You know, there could be someone that gives a speech to 100 people, and if they were to interview them when they walked out the door, 50 of them might say, that was the most amazing speech, I feel amazing. And the other 50 might say, that guy is a loser, what a totally terrible speech. And yet the person said the exact same thing, the exact same words. It's just that whatever was going on in those people's minds caused them to hear it differently. So my Shifu said, let go of that fear. And you just have to be yourself. Society will often tell us who we have to be. They'll tell you what jobs you should do, the way you should act, the way you should dress. Marketing and sales will tell us to buy these things if you want to be happy. But what if that's really not you? You're going to have this internal resistance. If it tells you you have to dress in a certain way, or you have to get a certain job, a certain career, yeah, you may do it. But inside of you, internally, you're going to be resisting. This internal resistance you're not even aware of. And you wonder why you're so tight, and you wonder why you come home drained and tired and depressed. And even though you have it all, you have all the money and you have this great job, but inside it's not really you. And so you feel drained. Healing is about letting go. This is the secret. This is the mind shift. It's almost like a paradox, isn't it? Because more is not always more. To get healthy for me, it wasn't about always pushing myself harder, lifting more weights. When I did that, all I did was injure my body. I had to learn that for me, it was different things. It was walking. Walking for me is a great way to let go. It's doing Tai Chi and Qigong, movements that open the body. They open your body. They let you stretch. They let the energy move within you. Think about it. When I was sick, I was drained, but I was angry. And I was sad. And I was resistant. So there was all this tightness in my body. So if I just kept pushing through, it would get tighter and tighter and tighter. But what I found was that if I opened, if I let go, if I did things that didn't really seem to me before to be things that would be good exercise, now I find that those are the best possible things for me, for my body, and you have to find what is yours. I want you to listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to your spirit. Does something feel good? If it doesn't, if you have to resist something, you got to find out why. Can you change it? Can you shift your mind? Or is it something that maybe your body and mind is telling you it's not for you? Can you let it go? A great example was when I was trying to meditate. You know, I read all these books and I watched these videos and of the way you're supposed to feel and the things you're supposed to do, but I could never get it. In fact, I have really tight hips, you know, and so when I would sit there, instantly my mind would go to pain. And so I could never relax. I could never get this Zen state. You know, the first time that I was able to meditate was when I let go and stopped trying to meditate. I sat down, I put my legs crossed, which usually I could normally maybe do for 30 seconds before the pain came. And what I did was I got out my music, and I'm an 80s guy. I like alternative. I liked a lot of like metal, hard rock, that kind of stuff. And I put on this really loud playlist in my headphones. And I knew every song to every word. I knew every word to every song. Sorry. I knew it all. I knew everywhere where the beat would change. I knew it inside out. And so when I was listening to it, I just started singing. And I'm sitting cross-legged. And my eyes are closed. And I'm carried away. I'm like in this zone. I'm flowing, man. And eventually, I checked in. I said, I better see what's going on. And it was like 25 minutes. I had sat cross-legged for 25 minutes. This was the first time I was able to meditate. And it was by not trying to meditate. It was by letting go. It's what are you trying so hard to do in life? Think about it. Is it really you? Or is there another something you should be doing or another way that you could be doing it? Could you let go of all the voices in society saying you have to do something? Because do you really have to? I want to end this just simply by saying this. There was, I studied Taoism with my Taoist priest, and it's just a philosophy, a way to calm the mind. And he always said that the Taoist masters were always considered a little bit crazy. He said because they didn't just go with what society said. They went their own way. They listened to their mind. They listened to their body. And if it called them to leave society and go and sit in a cave, for a week, that was what they did. They let go. They followed their flow. They followed their way in life. And I think that if you can do that with whatever you're struggling in life, if it's relationships, if it's money, if it's health, I want you to really ask yourself, is what I'm trying to do, is that really where I want to go? Is that really how I want to do it? Or is there another way? Now, I started a community. It's called the Alive Again Collective, and it's just there to support people in our healing journeys. And it's a place where I teach people some different ways to let go, maybe some Qigong, maybe some Tai Chi, maybe some meditation. And you're welcome to join us. If you connected with this video at all, I'd love for you to come and join us, because we're looking to build it with good people who are on a journey. Healing's hard, man. It is. I tried so hard to heal for years by myself, but it wasn't until I really found someone who could help me, and I found a tribe of people, a community of people where I wasn't alone. So I'll put the link in, and if you connect with it, you're definitely welcome to come and check us out. I hope this video helped. I want to send you peace and love.